WrestleMania is a little over 40 days away, and there were two big matches made last night on Raw. Uh, First off, I just want to, like I said last time with the new WWE.com site. Like I said, it looks like someone did WWE's work on wet paint, and it looks very weird. I don't know why. It just looks very weird to me. But you know, get used to it. Later, of each time you go on here and doing these things for the predictions and reviews and whatever, you get used to it. So it's not that bad as it was when I first saw it, but it still needs a lot of work. Anyway, the biggest thing that came on Raw, and if anything, you could have turned off Raw after this segment and you would have been satisfied. And this is the great thing. WWE has entertained people for maybe half an hour better than they have done for a 3-hour block on Monday Night Raw. That's how good this segment was. If you left the fucking Raw, if you were at the arena for Raw and if you left after this segment, you would have been satisfied regardless. Because I mean, this was pretty much the whole fucking show right here. We had the return of a man that has not been in this company for over 6 years, or so we thought. Because technically he has been, from what we have been told. But for 6 years he hadn't been on screen since 2010. And that is only one man. Shane McMahon came back on Monday Night Raw. Now this was during the highly anticipated Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award, which was, for those who don't know, Vince McMahon Sr., the man who promoted during the NWA days when WWF was at that time was just Capital Wrestling. And I mean, heck, if you want to go even further back, Vince Sr., which would be Vince's grandfather, was a boxing promoter, which Vince explained during the presentation of the award. But you know, the award went to Stephanie McMahon. Then Shane came out, which was probably the best moment of the show, let alone of the year, possibly, because no one expected this. So Shane came back and wanted control of Monday Night Raw, which leads us to this match, a match that I honestly never thought we would see. Probably it maybe happened during the Attitude Era. I don't remember, to be honest, but I don't think it did. But I might be wrong, but I know this one hasn't for sure. This version of it hasn't for sure. And that is Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker inside the Hell in a Cell. This is the first time in a long time that the Hell in a Cell has been used, not at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, mind you, in October. This is the first time in a long time since, God, I don't remember. I want to say the end of an era Hell in a Cell match. That the Hell in a Cell has been used outside of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in October. Which means, if they still have that pay-per-view, you're guaranteed at least 2 Hell in a Cell matches this year, which is great. Fucking great. Compared to you get this one at Mania and whatever they have at Hell in a Cell, which would be great, unless they discontinue Hell in a Cell and just have Hell in a Cell what it should be as a once-in-a-while attraction like this. Now, if the streak was still on the line, this would be an interesting way to break the streak. Because if Shane McMahon wins this match, he controls Monday Night Raw. And effectively, if you control Monday Night Raw, you control WWE in a nutshell. So, if Shane wins, he gets Raw. If Shane loses, Vince gets some kind of lockbox. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming there was something in this lockbox that has Vince's head very high to where he would want this lockbox back. I'm assuming this is stock shares. I don't know for sure, but that's just a guess of what's in here. Maybe Shane's a majority shareholder. I don't know. But it's a hell of a deal for Shane. If he wins, he gets Raw, and if he loses, he just has to give up a fucking lockbox. That's fucking great. That's when you know creative has nothing for this match if Shane loses. You get a fucking lockbox. I don't understand why this lockbox is important. Hopefully, we'll find out in the weeks to come. But I would love to see Shane win and run Raw. That would be very interesting because Shane McMahon for many years has been groomed as the prodigal son and the prodigal heir to the throne. But he left in 2010 and that didn't happen. But this could rewrite that. And I want to say that Shane actually looks better than a couple years ago because God, his hair was fucking horrible a couple years ago. His hair made him look like he was older than Vince, which really says something. But yeah, I mean, I honestly hope Shane wins this because, I don't know what happens. It could be a one-shot thing for Shane. It could be a one-shot deal, trying to sell 100,000 tickets. This match alone will sell 100,000 tickets. Much like the next match, Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar, no holds barred. Basically, for those who have never seen a no holds barred match, anything goes. Pinfalls count anywhere. Submissions count anywhere. I would assume, unless sometimes no holds barred they have to win in the ring. But as far as I can remember, most of them falls count anywhere. Submissions anywhere. No disqualifications. No countouts. Anything goes. You just have to win. And God, did we see an attack on Raw? Well, before Raw, rather, as Dean Ambrose was attacked by Brock Lesnar to the point where he had to be taken out in an ambulance. Which I do want to talk about that really quickly because I just don't understand why they had Dean Ambrose propped up on the gurney, because it really looked like he could have hit the back of his head on that fucking ambulance. And if he did, someone would have got fired. I'm just going to say it right now. If an EMT did that today, they would be fired. Unless it is really necessary, unless it is physically impossible to have them lay down on that gurney, there is no way this would happen. Which made us know that Dean would come back and have the no holds barred match. I mean, WWE, for the greatest show it was, did have its flaws like it does every Monday night. It had its flaw right there, even before the show began. But with that being said, Dean versus Brock, it only makes sense to put them together because Roman's going to Mania against Triple H, so what are they going to do? You got to have them in a match somehow. With this one, I don't know what will happen. Just like the last one, I don't know. But I feel that if they're going to have Dean win, they would do this here, because that way, if you win over the man that beat the streak of The Undertaker at WrestleMania, mind you, if they beats him at WrestleMania, the same event where Brock Lesnar broke the streak, that makes Dean Ambrose the next big thing in the WWE. It makes him the next guy, the next main eventer, the next possible WWE champion. It makes him the guy. And at the end of the day, that's what's probably going to happen here. Brock's going to fucking pass the torch here, and Dean Ambrose is going to be the next big thing. But with that being said, Mania is 40 days away, and I cannot wait to see what happens next, because anything can happen on this road to WrestleMania. And last night just proved it.